we're fighting for our needs while they're expecting all their wants to be met. On our episode of Drop Stones this week, we had a special guest on, the West Virginia Oracle. And in the episode, we talk about a whole bunch of different things, cover a lot of different ground bases and a lot of ground in the episode. And one of the things we talked about was West Virginia history. And I find it interesting and fascinating because it could be pointing to a microcosm of what's happening in our country right now. When you think about the mine wars of the early 1900s and how the people were so oppressed and just used up by the business people in there. West Virginia was a rich state with natural resources that should have provided an income and a decent living style for all its residents because of the work opportunities that would be there. But if you know anything about early 1900s business and the monopolies and the just all these just barons of business that were going around trying to squeeze every dollar and penny out of everything, and the mine business was absolutely not different in any means. It may have been one of the worst ones. And the railroad barons were in there too, destroying everything. And just how they came in and desolated a whole area of the country and just depleted it of its resources and abused its workers. And when the workers tried to stand up and unite and find some recognition that there was actually militia put in, National Guard, state militia, all this that was sponsored and paid for by the businesses to squelch these uprisings and unionization of the miners in this time, just so that these people could get basic needs met, because they were being worked and overworked and just used up with very little pay and compensation due to them and no concern to their health or anything else that was going on. And it just shows kind of what we're starting to look like in this country with the oligarchs starting to take over. That we are just fighting and expecting and happy and accept it when our just basic needs in life are met. How happy would most Americans be if egg prices dropped down to under $2 a dozen again, where you could see gas prices dropping down to, under $2 or whatever again? The elation people would have, just basic needs being met, grocery prices and food prices coming down and getting our budgets being able to expand a little more because we can afford the basic needs of life. And that would just be the greatest thing ever for most people in this country. And they would lift up whoever was in charge of the government at the time and hold them up as a hero for saving all this money. But that's just basic needs. It should be what's expected, what should be given to the people. We shouldn't have to worry every day if we were going to have food in our bellies and a roof over our head. But yet, there's so many Americans that are concerned with this right now. And the people on top that are running everything and are benefiting from the systems and how they're set up now aren't worrying about any of these basic needs or necessities. They're expecting their rocket ships so they can go to Mars. They got all these wants, desires, and dreams that they're trying to get to fruition that they want to have in their life that we couldn't even possibly imagine having. A centillion of whatever they have to do and the freedom to operate in life the way that they do. Shit's all backwards. People should get their basic needs met. We shouldn't have to worry about where I'm going to sleep tonight, if it's going to be warm, and if I'm going to have a full belly. We should have that stuff met so we could experience life, move on, and just grow and progress. Because when everyone has a pot to pee in and a chicken in their pot, not the one they pee in, that things can develop and grow because it gives freedom to people to explore. It gives freedom for people to experiment and freedom for people to grow and see what it is, whether it be in the arts or in industry or anything else. Now you have free time. You have all your basic needs met. You can start exploring other things in the world and making your own life better and making the world around you better. But the oligarchs don't want to see that. They're afraid of losing just a little bit of their extreme wealth, even though they can afford to lose a lot of bit of it. And it keeps oppressing people, which is going to turn out maybe something like what West Virginia had in the early 1900s.